Hello. What I'm going to do is demonstrate how Statistician works. Statistician is an Excel add-in developed within Visual Studio, and it actually performs some very high quality statistical analysis completely within the Excel environment. Statistician is not the first Excel add-in that does statistics that's available, but it is quite unique. Now, after installing Statistician, users will see a new tab here. So we'll click that tab, and basically our tab is just a whole lot of buttons. One of the most important buttons is here to the very left-hand side, called Manage Data. Basically, all statistical analysis in Statistician involves defining a data variable, and after a data variable is defined, some statistical analysis is done upon that data variable. But that is unique. No other add-in, statistical add-in, allows you to define a data variable quite the way Statistician does, and it's far more friendly to the statisticians, if you like, because once you define a data variable, you can do multiple sorts of analysis upon that data variable, whereas virtually every other statistics add-in in Excel will simply force you to highlight an area of the worksheet and then keep highlighting it again and again and again as you want to do more and more sorts of statistical analysis. Okay, we'll start off by defining data variables. Here I have a number of economic variables, how they change each year, yearly data on gross domestic product, the M2 money supply, and so on. So firstly, I need to define that data as a data variable. I then click my Manage Data form, and within the Manage Data form I can define a data variable by importing it. I can export it back to the worksheet, I can rename it, I can remove that data variable. I'm just going to define the data variable, so I'm going to import data variables. I then get an input box. I just simply now highlight the area where the data is, which I want to define as a data variable. I'll click OK, and we can see now our data variables are defined. Now actually all of this data is actually now held in a hidden worksheet. So if I close this, for example, the data is still held in the hidden worksheet. If I remove this source data, the data is still held within a hidden worksheet. If I close Excel and then restart this workbook, the data variables will still be defined. Now we're going to do an example of the output. I'm just going to do a simple regression analysis, a very, very common statistical technique. When we do regression analysis, I'm interested in how one variable may impact upon a number of other variables. So I choose a dependent variable. In this case, I'll select gross domestic product. I'll choose 4 other independent variables. I can choose to have my regression with or without a constant, define different sorts of standard errors, change the sample range, and there's a huge amount of different sorts of output that I may wish to produce. I'm just going to stick with the simple regression statistics in this example. So now I simply say output results. I'll be asked to select a cell where I want the output to go. I'll select I3, click OK, and in a moment the output is there. I'll just simply close this box now, and there's our output. Regression, ordinary least squares, we have our dependent variable, all quite nicely formatted in output. Our statistics, the coefficient, the t ratios, p values, again the r squared of the regression. I'm not going to explain what all those things mean, but what I wanted to do was make a few points. Firstly, it's fairly easy to use. If you understand the statistics, using it is really quite easy. The second point I would make, it is really quite unique in its capacity to define data variables and then work on those data variables in a number of different ways. For example, for those data variables that I just defined, I might want to have a look at some summary statistics. So I'll choose my summary statistics box. There's my data variables again. I'll select all the variables, output results. I need to find a place somewhere in the workbook to output those results, output them, and here we have now the summary statistics on those 5 data variables that I chose. All very simple, straightforward. Thank you.